G'day. If you're like me, you probably feel like you've never worked so hard and at the same time never been so broke. That definitely describes 2025. Pretty much looking back 30 years, I remember my parents, they bought a house. House cost them about 30 grand. Not sure how long the mortgage was for. I was a teenager, I didn't give a crap. Or I was a kid at the time, didn't give a crap. We had a house, we lived in it. At that point in time, pretty much my dad was working full time, paying for a $30,000 house, and paying for schooling for one primary school kid, my brother, who was who was a secondary school kid, and we had a dog. Basically, we still went away on holidays, camping, we still done all the usual things. They still ended up with plenty for retirement. On one income. One income. Currently, I've got 3 kids, 2 dogs, and I work full time at my own self-employed business. My wife is a kindergarten teacher, working 3 days a week, 3 days a week, on site, essentially 5 days a week. And right now, it seems like the bank account is still going backwards. We have a mortgage of around about $300,000, so 10 times what my parents had when they bought their first house at around the similar age. What else has changed? The amount that I'm earning has gone up, the amount that, just everything. You get a bill, it's gone up. You buy milk, it's gone up. You buy egg cartons, it's gone up. You go to a quick shop and somehow you've spent $70. Felt like you went back 3 years, you'd spend $70 of food and it would last you a week. $70 doesn't even really last you a day nowadays, especially in a family. I can understand if like the single individual, a single person living in a house, they may have a much cheaper food cost, but their housing cost is considerably more because there's only one income that week. Everything seems to be going backwards. Why is that? It seems like the world's gone crazy. Everyone's grabbing for as much money as possible. Everything. Used to buy one-off applications or one-off software. Now that turns into a monthly subscription of $2. Everything's holding out its hand going, yeah, we want a bit more. We want a bit more. People are breaking. People are cracking. People have given up. I've never worked so hard to earn so little. It is absolutely shit. There's not much more to say about it. Housing, there used to be flats in a particular area. When I was first looking at houses with my wife, we come across flats in one particular area of town, small town, around 10,000 people. And these flats, single bedroom flat, you'd probably spend anywhere from $50,000 to $80,000. Those same flats now start at $220. It's a 1-bedroom flat with your neighbour attached to both sides of you. What the hell? The price of housing is shot through the roof. Local real estate in town, essentially there's nothing that exists. There's nothing new going up. The places that are available for rent for small commercial lease agreements are either absolutely ridiculous in price, asking anywhere from, I've heard figures of $400-500, if not $1,500 a week. What are you selling to generate $1,500, to be able to afford $1,500 a week for a commercial business? That door would A, never want to shut, or B, I want to be able to live there too. It's for that kind of price. That is absolutely insane. My rent where I'm currently in is fairly modest. It's fairly small, fairly old. I have no real heating or cooling going on in here. So I'm here for 5 days a week. Temperature's fine. If it's cold, I turn on another computer. If my hands are cold, I turn on a heat mat and work on some phones. They keep my hands warm. Heating and cooling is not an issue in this building, but the price of rent around the area is. The other buildings that are available that aren't available within the CBD are pretty much owned by people that don't live here, that are using it purely for capital gains reasons, or they've owned it and they're going to sit on that now for 30 years. We don't give a shit if anyone goes in there because it's going up in price. It's an investment. Investments a good investment also will have someone in there generating an income, helping the community. Where helping the community is pretty much what I do here. If I'm not here, all of a sudden, all these people over the age of 50 have no form of tech support or even general questions. The issue that I've got though, is being a small independent business as well, is that Optus has left town. So there's no Optus store in town. There was up until about 3 years ago. I'm hearing rumours that there's a Telstra shop in town, and that's also going to leave. where do the people go? They go to the other phone shop in town, which is me. They're going to ask questions that I can't really monetize because it's going to be, oh, how do I extend my ringtone to my phone? All the silly, dumb little questions that should be going back to the telco regarding telecommunications issues. I do agree that they shouldn't be dealing with Facebook problems. If someone comes in and goes, I've got a Telstra phone and my Facebook's not working, it shouldn't be up to the Telstra shop to help. They could potentially choose to help, but they don't necessarily have to. That's where I would come into play. But now I'm going to have people going, I was overcharged on XY, on my bill by XY, and I'll go, it's nothing to do with me. I can see why you're overcharged. You're going to have to talk to them. And that's going to waste 15 minutes of my time doing that because I can't charge for it. I don't know what I'm going to do when that eventually does occur, how I'm going to spin the business, what I'm going to do for that front of things, where basically I've said for the last 9 years, I offer repairs and problem solving. I don't offer tuition. And there's a lot of people that aren't willing to learn and they're not willing to solve their own problems. The other analogy that I commonly use is you don't go see a brain surgeon for a cut on your finger that requires a band-aid. Except, funny thing is on that front, less and less people doing medical sides, less specialised people in the area, means that the top of the chain is now seeing the bottom run jobs. You might be having various doctors seeing stuff that's completely unrelated to their field, but because there's no one else to see, they go straight to them. It definitely feels like the world is currently in a downward spiral, waiting for a bang. I still believe that the banks shouldn't have been bailed out with the GFC years ago. Yes, it would have created anarchy, but the people that caused the problem for the people on the bottom run never got really anything. They got bailed out and carried on with life. The people where it went boom, they lost their houses, they lost everything. The bankers didn't really lose much. They just kept going. That seems to be the way of the world. Screw the people, go the corporations, go the big businesses. Because the big businesses are too big to fail. But we can have 10,000 small businesses fail that actually support the people in their community. But no, who cares about them? We care about the one that employs 10,000 people, 1,000 people, 500 people. They must survive, they must go on, they can't fail. Some things deserve to fail, some things deserve to crumble. It's a very weird world where the dollar don't go far. Once it's in, it's already out. Not sure what to add to that. Bye.